Look at you.
Okay.
All right. Wow.
Hi.
Recording.
Hi.
All right. Is everybody? Oops. Dogs. Who we got? We got Nicole and Tamayah. Can you guys go to video? Does anybody go to video? Yeah. There we go. There's T. T, you're at work.
Yes.
We're recording, so the fact that you're still at work is great for the things we're going to talk about.
Okay.
So just to give you a little idea what we're going to do, T, our challenge group. I want to record it because it's hard to get everybody on a Zoom call. So Nicole's on the call with us. We might have a few pop in, but I want to record it and play it. But I'm glad you're at work because it's Tuesday at 8 o'clock and you're at work. And that is a lot of the stuff we're going to focus on today is kind of your story, where you are, what you did, where you're going, because you are one of the top 2 most busiest people I know. And you've managed to do this with all you got going on, from being busy to had 2 babies. I just feel your story relates to so many people, right? It really does. There are so many people that come to us and be like, I got a job. And you got multiple jobs. I got families. I just had 2 babies. I want to do this. I want to do that. This is where I'm at. And I think your story can show people that, like, hey, 1, you can have time to do this. 2, you got to have a really good schedule. 3, it takes patience. Mm-hmm. And 4, it just takes not quitting.
Yeah.
Because I feel that you have been on the edge of every spectrum. You've gone from, I'm totally tracking, I'm lifting 3 days a week, I'm doing jujitsu, I'm getting all my sleep, to life hits and you're like, Josh, I can cook food and I can go for a walk. But you never quit, right? Like, you went from the spectrum of you're on top of it to life hits. And then you're like, well, what can I do? Well, can you walk daily and can you at least cook whole foods? And you're like, yeah, I can do that. I think you've gone through so many times where a lot of people would quit and you never did. And you had realistic expectations. You're like, I know it's going to take a long time. So we're going to record it and put this out, probably put it on YouTube. And you can talk about your businesses. You can talk everything you want, okay? You can talk about you. Kind of share with people your story. You were highly competitive in a contact sport as a kid, right?
Yep.
And then you got married to Tim, who I've known. I figured out that I met Tim in 2007.
Wow.
Yes. We went to tournament together in 2007. And kind of tell your story, how active you were. Then you got pregnant, the businesses you own, how busy you were, what you did, where you are, where you're going. Because I think it can relate to a lot of women.
Okay.
So share that a little bit with us and then we'll talk.
Okay. You want me to start that now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So can you still see me?
I got you.
Okay, good. So I did compete a lot growing up as a kid, and I was always super active. But I was on like the lower spectrum of being too small. I was like 85, 95 pounds. I think when I met Tim, I might have been like right around 90 pounds. And so he was helping me just like eating more protein and lifting weights, just trying to put on a little bit of weight so I can get over 100 pounds. And it actually worked. It was great. When I got pregnant, I was 125, had abs, put on some good muscle. It was really fun, really cool. And I think that's when I first realized I enjoyed lifting. And that was 2014-ish. Then we got married, opened up a business, had a baby. After baby number 1, I felt like I bounced back pretty quick. Like, it wasn't bad at all. I had my abs back in a year. But then baby number 2 came and I did not bounce back. And that's when I reached out to you.
Between babies?
21 months.
Okay.
They are 21 months apart.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's when I reached out to you because I was complaining to Tim. I was like, this weight's not coming off, and I don't know why, because last time it came off easy, and the stuff I'm doing now is not working. And I think at my heaviest, right after Sophia, I was like 168. And that's from somebody coming from being like barely 100 pounds to going all the way up to 168. It just felt weird to me. And I knew I needed to fix it. So I called you, told you what I had going on. I was very nervous at first because I was like, he's not going to understand and he's probably going to make me do all these hard workouts and I'm still nursing and all. I had all the excuses. But you were great. You were really nice, very easy to work with, very understanding, and you started me off slow. You didn't like crush me with too much. We did not initially start with the weightlifting because I was really nervous about doing that on my own and by myself. So we just worked on nutrition. And so that first year I worked with you right after Sophia, I had lost 20 pounds, but just with nutrition, like not lifting weights. I was doing a little bit of jujitsu, but I was not weightlifting yet. And then after that first year, I was like, okay, I've lost some weight. Now I want to tone up, I want to build some muscle. I want to look good naked. And I knew I needed to lift weights to do that. And so that's when we started lifting, but then COVID hit.
Yeah.
And so COVID hit 2020. I got really, really stressed. Opened up a second business also in 2020, so even more stress. And I put on a bunch of weight, even though I was still eating well and exercising. And I couldn't figure out what was wrong. Like we had definitely had some phone calls where I was like, this is not working. I don't know what else I need to be doing. Like I'm tracking, I'm eating protein, I'm working out, I'm doing all the right stuff, but I'm not losing weight. And then it turned out it was just a lot of stress and we needed to address some other things outside of just like my exercise and my nutrition. So once we figured out that, working on the stress, sleep, that kind of stuff, that's when I started dropping again.
And that was almost like backtracking, right? Like I remember we had the call with Mike because
Mm-hmm.
I pull in Mike for a lot of these things, right? Because that's an aspect of nutrition and wellness that I am not too familiar with. He deals with it daily.
Yeah.
It was really hard for you to go like, wait, I've been doing everything right. And now I kind of got to backpedal and I got to worry about sleep, stress, whole foods. I got to do all these things first before it comes off. Why can't I just keep doing what I was doing before? Mm-hmm. Right? It's hard to take a back step and look at everything when you're just like, no, this is just about eating and working out and having good nutrition.
I was a little nervous too because you upped my calories and you cut my workouts. And I was like, so I'm eating more and I'm working out less. We'll see how this goes. No,
I was learning around the time you were.
Yeah.
I was like, because that is an aspect that I'm not too good with. And Mike was like, listen, stress, hormones, can't stimulate the body, get better food in her. You made amazing changes to sleep. Like you went beyond what most people do. Like you did the supplements, you did a fan, you did a cooler room. You changed a lot of things around sleep, didn't you?
I got a new bed, I got new pillows. I was like, if I need to sleep, I'm going to be comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I kicked the kids out of my bed.
You got the new bed. Like, yes, that's right. The kids were in the bed.
Yeah.
And you got them in their bed so you could sleep. And then I feel like in the last 4 months, 3 months maybe, something else has changed. Like you're back in it now. Like, and all of a sudden you had that picture when you posted yourself in that before picture with that bikini, and I was blown away. I was blown away at that because you always said, I just want to be comfortable enough to take a picture in a two-piece. And to put that out is like pretty, I mean, that's risky, right? That's putting yourself out there. That is awesome that you went that far and it looked like a completely different person.
Yeah.
Right? That's amazing because I know your story. And your story for so many people, I think is so powerful because you never quit, right? I want to talk about some strategies that I think other people could benefit from, especially our challengers or people listening in. We talked about sleep. Mm-hmm. You have 2 businesses, 2 kids, a husband who eats whatever he wants, and he's like
Whatever you
100%
want.
body fat. He is, and he looks like he's 18. Right? He looks like he's 18, but he eats. I remember when I trained Tim to fight, I was like, Tim, what are you going to do to cut, 15 pounds? He goes, quit eating McDonald's. Great. I'm not kidding. He was serious. He quit eating McDonald's. He'd make 135. Like 5'11", 135 when we fight pro MMA in Bellator.
Oh my God.
At 135 from like 155 and just quit eating McDonald's. Like a freak. Right?
Yeah.
And you are busy. Talk about scheduling for you. I talk to so many people about scheduling.
Yeah, I actually put 2 workout blocks in my day. So if I miss one for whatever reason, I have a second one. So I was doing morning workouts. That was my workout block. I would drop the kids off at school, and usually from like 10 to 11, I would go to the gym. But then things started getting busy with work, and I noticed I kept missing my morning workout because of work. So I just put 2 in my day. And if I can't get my morning one, I know I have the evening one that I can get to. So I put 1 in the morning, 1 later in the evening. I always try for the morning one because if I can get it done and over with, great. But I also know in the back of my head, if something comes up or if, something with the kids or whatever, I have that last time slot that I can get to in the evening.
That's a hack.
Yeah,
that's a hack.
Really smart.
To put 2 schedules and you block out an hour.
Yeah.
And this is coming from somebody that was almost super intimidated from the gym years ago. Like you were intimidated by it, right?
Yeah.
Now you got a shirt that says what? Leave me alone. You bought a shirt. So a shirt that says leave me alone. But now, so you actually schedule it. And I tell people all the time, create a schedule. Mm-hmm. To live your life, you have to have a schedule, right? Like you can't get up in the morning and be like, oh, let's just see how the day goes.
No, I usually know what I'm doing from the moment I wake up to the end of the day. And if life was perfect, my day would just kind of like boom, boom, boom. But I have little kids, I have employees, I just have life. So my life doesn't go the way I normally want it to. So that's why I have to put those 2 schedules in.
So the life hack here for people to take away, you made major changes to sleep. Mm-hmm. Major. I mean, dude, getting a new bed is like, that's a major investment, right? You created a schedule and you put 2 workout blocks.
I love the 2
workout
blocks.
That's a great idea.
And I think that might scare people because they're like, well, I don't have 2 hours in my day, but like you just have to make one of them.
Yes.
So if people could lay aside an hour, like either 1 in the morning, and I think people do that subconsciously anyways, they just don't write it down.
Yeah, they're like, I'm going to work out at 10, something happens, I'll just hit it after workout.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so smart.
All right, next step that I think you made major changes in, food. You are the opposite of me. You like to cook. Oh my gosh, that was horrible. I'm sorry. That was gross.
I'm so glad we have that on video.
Yeah, that was great. You love to cook. You're a food person. And you always send me these pictures of food. You gotta get down. You always send me pictures of food and I'm like, that's way better than meat, rice, green salsa, right? And I'm like, that is not me, right? If you're talking to somebody out there that's super busy, wants to cook but still have some flavor and has to cook for kids, right? Because you got kids and a husband to cook for, right? Give me a couple pieces of advice you would give to somebody who's like, listen, I'm busy. I still like to eat well. I got kids. And your kids aren't just like, you don't have like a 15 and an 18 running around. You got like a 4 and a 3. 5 and 3, right? Give me some suggestions you would tell somebody who is in your shoes, busy, kids, job, family, still wants to eat good. Give me some tips for them from a food quality and from eating enough, like getting the protein in. What are your tricks?
I drink a protein shake every day for one. That helps with just making sure I get my protein in addition to like my meals. And like meal prepping is tough for me. I always see the people like all their little meal packs laid out and it looks so organized and I can't do that. So my meal prepping is sometimes like Monday, I cook a bunch of chicken thighs. and a bunch of ground turkey. And I just make my side. So I'll have a bowl of quinoa, our sweet potatoes, our broccoli, put them all in the fridge, and then we just eat from that throughout the week. So I try to just make a few different meats, a couple of sides, a couple of veggies, and then a lot of fresh fruit and vegetables because the kids like that. So we do a lot of apples, oranges, cucumbers, bell peppers, carrots, that kind of stuff for snacking on.
So you cook, what would they call it, buffet style?
Yeah.
Have a big bowl of chicken thighs and big bowl of turkey and big bowl of quinoa, bunch of fruit, and you just taking scoops out of it for the week.
Yep.
Right. I think that's the best.
I
think that's the best way to do it.
That's it. That's exactly how I used to do it.
That's the best way to do it. How about cooking separate? This is a big question I get. How about cooking separate for kids and cooking separate for you? Is that a challenge?
I don't cook separately for the kids. They eat what I eat. Yeah, they just eat what I eat. We never did the whole like, hey, here's your kid food and here's mommy and daddy food. They eat what we eat.
That's like, I mean, it might not always be a learned thing. I can't really speak to kids, but like, I feel like if you give kids the option to choose, then they're going to continue to want to choose. And if you don't give them the option, like they're going to eat.
Yeah,
you know
could be.
Yeah, we have I do pack I guess unhealthy snacks for them. So like Quentin really likes graham crackers, but he knows that before he can have a graham cracker, he has to eat a healthy snack. And his preference is usually like some cucumber or some bell pepper, and he'll ask for his healthy snack first and eat that before he goes for the graham crackers.
Yeah. So
the only one I cook a little differently for is Tim, just because he needs a lot more calories. So if I'm doing like tacos and I do a lettuce wrap, I always make sure he has like flour tortillas because he just needs. If he ate the way I ate, he would probably be just like.
He'd wither away.
Yeah, he would.
I bet he can smash food. I bet he could smash calories.
I've been trying to get him to track so I can see, but he won't do it.
Yeah. The blissfulness of genetics, right?
Yeah.
Talk about patience. You've showed unbelievable patience, right, through this whole process. And I always use process and struggle. And I get it from the dumb books I read. It's like the struggle and the process are the same. It's a struggle and it's always a process. Talk about managing expectations, because I think in the beginning you were like, I'm just going to do this for 6 months. I'm going to be shredded. And then it was hard. And then there had to be a lot of trust. And I've sent you many emails where I'm like, thank you for trusting like what we're doing. Like, I know it's hard. Like, I know it's hard. And you're sitting here and you're like, they're telling me to eat more and work out less and to sleep more. Shouldn't I be grinding? Like, shouldn't I be grinding through it and working hard, right? Talk a little bit about what it took for you to have some patience, managing expectations. And I mean, you've been through tough times with this. Like, COVID was hard. You had 2 businesses with COVID and you had to shut down sometimes, right? I mean, 2 little kids during COVID, right? And they're not around people, right? So there's stress there. Talk a little about some people and encourage them a little bit on like having patience. I don't know how you can speak on that, but you had it. I don't know if it's just part of who you are, right? Because you're such a competitor growing up. What intrinsically was driving you during hard times?
I guess anything worth doing takes time, and I'm used to that. Like, I started martial arts when I was 9, but I didn't get my black belt till I was 17. So that was like 8.5 years. And as a kid, to wait 8.5 years before you get something that you've been working so hard for. And I trained like every day, Monday through Thursday, for 8.5 years before I got that. And
now you're in jiu-jitsu, which is like the most
same thing
in the world.
Yeah, same process. I know it's just going to take time. You just put the work in, you just show up. I think that's what Tim says, show up.
Yeah.
When I am getting frustrated about my progress in jiu-jitsu, he says, just show up. So it applies to this too. If I just follow the plan, and I know there's a plan, like I'm not as smart on the science behind it, but I know that you guys are. So I just follow the plan. I know I'll have bumps. I know there's definitely times when I'm just like, I'm barely holding on, but like the plan is still there. I can always come back to the plan. I can always start all over or, do whatever I need to do or make adjustments if I need to. Like it's there. And for me, being healthy, being in shape, being active it's not like an end goal, it's just life. Like if I wasn't lifting weights, I would be doing jujitsu or CrossFit or something. Like I've always been active. So that part is normal. Like that's just life.
I like how you put that.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what we try to tell everybody. It's like, you're not just in this for 8 weeks. This is like a life change. Like this is something that you're going to have to work on for the rest of your life. You don't just get to work on it for 8 weeks and quit.
Yeah.
I want to hear about like your self-talk and how like when you do go through really tough times or like doubting yourself, what are the things that you tell yourself to keep going?
I do a lot of progress photos. I love photos.
Yeah.
They help me out a lot, especially if I feel like I'm in like a little bump and I'm not losing enough weight or I'm not building enough muscle or whatever the case is. If I go back to a photo, I'm sure I can find a photo where I was worse off than I am now.
Yeah.
So photos help.
I'm so glad you said that.
Yeah. So much more than the scale, right? I remember the first time I was ever like, after we were like 8 months into this, I was like, Tamayah, go back to photos.
Yeah.
And you said that was one of the most encouraging things you did was going back to the photos because you're like, wow, Josh, I guess you're right. I've really come a long way.
Yeah.
I'm very competitive. So I want to get things done fast and like I want to be the best at it. But this is not one of those things that I can just do fast.
Yeah.
That's great. That's, I mean, just it's great because it's like
it's real.
We're covering the things that I'm asking a lot of people to do. And it's hard for some people, like somebody's going to watch this video and they're either going to be in a hurry, not taking pictures, don't know how to meal prep, have kids, are afraid of the gym, stressed out.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to have something in this video. They're going to sit back and be like, okay, now I can relate to somebody.
Yeah.
Right. And I know I can do it because I'm not asking them to do something nobody else has done. Right. Mm-hmm. Nicole, you're on this. Does any of this relate to you? Like, do you see something here and you're just kind of like, yep, I get it.
All of it.
All of it, yeah. Now you're sitting with kids. How many kids do you have?
I have one.
Okay.
So
and
next month. So
what do you think relates the most here for you?
The kid aspect of it.
Yeah.
But also the COVID aspect, because I was pregnant in 2020 with Addie. So being pregnant and then going through the whole first year of COVID with the newborn, everything shut down. It's a lot of stress not being active. That's where I think it all started and triggered. But just the busy lifestyle in general, because I mean, working on a floor as a nurse too.
Yeah.
I don't have time like to eat the like little snacks in between, and so we in a sense do the the buffet style prepping as well. Okay. So either Sundays or Mondays we'll do our meats, our veggies, our carbs, and just big piles and eat it throughout the week.
Okay. All right. I feel like more and more a lot of people are going to relate because we're off the back end of COVID. More and more people are going to relate to this. I didn't struggle as much with COVID. I had a key to a gym, and I don't do anything anyway.
No, he doesn't ever. No,
that's its whole separate problem.
I think too. What I noticed is like a lot of my clients.
You're social now.
Yeah, but a lot of my clients, myself included, did really well through COVID, and now is where we're finding it to be really hard.
Wow,
because the social life has come back into it, and now it's like social life is kind of taking more of a presence than always choosing like your healthy lifestyle. So we're trying to get back to a balance of finding like, hey, I can go out and do these things, but I also need to be in the gym working out and eating well and like not just being social.
Sure.
So I find my clients like more tired now because I'm doing more stuff.
I have a client that flew to Spain and she's like, hey, I'm leaving for Spain today. And it's funny how COVID messed with you for so long, because the first thing I thought was, wow, can we even fly to Spain now?
I flew
Like-
without a mask yesterday.
Did you really?
Wild.
Yeah, like
So
can
wild.
we can fly now without like being strip searched and like taking 27 tests. Like
Yeah.
what? Right.
Crazy.
So we recorded this.
Yeah.
Um,
Nicole, do you have any
yeah,
questions
give
for
her
us or
question.
Tamayah?
Us or Tamayah. What are your questions? You got any?
I don't think I have any.
Okay. Does it feel good to hear somebody that's gone through it? Like I've been with Tamayah for a long time,
Yeah.
and it's been like there's been some times where she's mad at me. I'm not gonna lie. She's mad at me. I'm mad at her for not listening. Like and then but then we get on the other end of it, right?
Yeah.
And this story from her, there's not one piece of her story that I don't think a woman out there can't relate to.
Right.
Not one piece, right? And one thing I do know about Tamayah is I think what can keep Tamayah going is knowing now that her story's out, there's going to be a lot of people watching. There's going to be people seeing this. We're going to put this out on YouTube. And now there are going to be people that are going to be like, now you have a responsibility, Tamayah, right? Like now there's accountability because I'm going to email this out to 3,000 people, right? And they're going to watch your story. And 6 months down the line, you're going to be like, I don't want to do this anymore.
I'm gonna have abs.
Tamayah,
Finally, that's my goal.
3,000 people watched your video and they're expecting you to do
They're
this,
expecting you.
right?
I love it.
They're expecting you to do this. So, Tamayah, I know you got a family. I told you 30 minutes. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
It's a blessing, I think, with everything you got going on that you've been able to do it. You still got a lot more to go. I know your goals are abs, right? I mean, don't get pregnant again.
I know that's the goal. That's the goal.
Yeah, but thank you for sharing your story. I always share your stuff. You put out the before and after picture, and I was just like, that's not even the same person. Do you feel like how you walk and go to the gym and talk and feel? Do you just feel different?
I do. The crazy thing is, when I was bigger, it was right after having a baby. So like I had, moderate expectations about how my body was going to change and react after that. But one thing I don't know if it was a hindrance or not, but my husband is just very sweet and kind and always told me I looked amazing, and never one time did anybody, or especially not him, who sees me naked, not one time was he like, hey, you wanna, lose some weight or do anything. He never brought it up. He was just always supportive of whatever I chose to do. And when I told him I needed help and that I was thinking about reaching out to you, he's like, yeah, you should do that. Josh is cool. He made sure I had your number. He showed me how to get in touch with you. He's just very supportive. And he's been supportive since the start.
That's awesome. Yeah. Because I'll tell you this, I've worked with a lot of women who have had the complete opposite. I really have. I've worked with a lot of women who men get upset when they want to get healthy and will push them in completely different directions. In the culture we live in, that's very sensitive for women.
Yeah, for sure.
That's very sensitive for women. With social media and everything, it's hard for women. And to know that you have that support, he's always encouraging, he's always uplifted you. It shows too that you did this for you. Right? For nobody else, but you did it for you. So I appreciate you coming on. Nicole, we'll send this out. Make sure you hit us with any questions, Nicole. If you got questions for Tamayah or anything, I can always get it to Tamayah and ask.
Yep, I'm in the group.
But thank you guys for coming on. Nicole, we'll be in touch. Tamayah, thank you very much for sharing your story. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you guys.
You guys.
Bye.
Bye.